see. Now we're
Just make faces.
You have a problem.
Hi, Monica.
Yeah, I had to wrap my trees. Cause I nearly lost a bunch last year from them rubbing them.
Hi.
I lost
How are you?
3 pieces of trees. Did it really this year?
Scavenger. Find your seat.
Because they moved in a little earlier than they typically do. Yeah. 3 pieces of trees, and I was probably 5 or 6 meters. But, I mean, so, no,
Yes.
you protect the tree, you say you're a little late, is that,
Yeah.
you're a little late?
You know, I take chicken wire,
Okay.
because I can just bend it and kind of squeeze it and it sticks on there and it doesn't get wet and fall off.
I got kind of a vinyl,
See, there he is. Mr. Rossi.
those vinyl fences that have the, that are flexible. I
I'm
did.
gonna have you introduce our students, is that okay?
That's fine.
Should.
We'll see them in line.
I'm gonna go in the hall here.
We'll find her.
Every one of them.
Yeah, sure.
I have one
Yeah,
that-
everybody's good.
Don't
Don't you have little- Just the one, almost 7-year-old.
But they started nibbling on my cherry tree a little bit. And so I
Getting into that feisty stage. of
find
life.
bird netting, plastic bird netting, just draped over that. And that's endorsed. But this is
Welcome everyone to the Ogden-Weber Tech Board of Trustees meeting today. This is exciting to be together. We'd like to excuse Corey Ann Edwards from the meeting today. We have some guests that are joining us through Zoom. We've got Eric Peterson from the Attorney General's office, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes, good to be here.
Eric, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Monica Schwenk is Vice President. She's on President Taggart. We are glad to have your presence. Thanks for dressing up for us today. Good to have you with us. And Hope Eccles, she's the Utah Board of Higher Education board member. She's with us as well. So hopefully glad to have you with us.
Glad to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
Will, this is your time to shine, brother. Yeah, so we have some wonderful treats over here. At any time during the meeting, please jump up and grab some, refill and.
Right, let me, I'll tell everybody a little bit about what the culinary students made. Tommy Martinez, he's a 30-year military vet. He joined the culinary arts program to gain knowledge of different cuisines from the countries that he's visited, and he was hoping to be able to prepare them to taste. And today he made us a stuffed cucumber with herb grilled cheese. Daniel Nichols started the program last year when he was a junior in high school. Over the years, he's learned a great deal of information and amazing skills from his mentors. Ever since I signed up for the program, I have made many friends along the way, and I have enjoyed my time. I've learned many great skills and will never forget what I've learned in this amazing program. Today, he prepared a spinach tomato cream cheese pinwheel. And then Justin Juice McCoy started the culinary program in high school. It has really helped hone his skills, not only in cooking, but in life as well. Learning new things every day has made me become a better student, and learning how to work with other people has made me become a better leader. Being here is an experience that I will never forget. And Justin has prepared a mini queso cheese ball with pita chips. And they all look really good. I've not actually tasted any of them just yet. They all look delightful.
Keep those posted. Thank you. Well, I neglected to recognize Jason Werner with us today, Program Director, and Eric Rossi, Automotive, and they have some students here, so we will look forward to hearing from you in just a minute. We'll begin today. First item on the agenda is approval of the minutes of the board of the meeting that was held on August 25th. There any discussions or concerns about minutes from that meeting? If none, we need a motion and a second to approve these minutes.
I move to approve the minutes of the Board of the Trustees meeting held on August 25th of 2022.
Thank you, Christine. Is there a second? Oh, thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Vice President Birch, would you like to talk about the best part of our meeting?
Yes, absolutely. It is the best part of our meeting. So I'm going to turn the time over to Eric Rossi. He is our program coordinator for our automotive program. And he's here to highlight a student in the automotive program. If I could ask you guys to come up to where the camera's going to get you, that would be awesome.
Well, I thank the board for inviting us today. I have one of our newer automotive students, about 3 months, Amberly Stewart. What I can say most about her is when you're around her, you get excited. She makes you feel good. I can tell she has good family support because we have some family members from her household that are joining us. Mom and a couple siblings. As far as Amberly's performance in our program, she definitely does not have fear of getting her hands dirty and getting involved with significantly difficult problems. Whether it's removing and replacing components or getting into the electrical and figuring out the ins and outs of the basics of Ohm's law and how circuits works and stuff like that. But with that being said, I'll turn the time over to her.
Thank you. I am really honored to be able to speak to you guys. So I'm Amberly Stewart. I'm a senior at Ewing Early College High School, which gives me the unique opportunity to graduate high school with my associate's degree. I'm also the National Honor Society president this year and run our school's book club. So you may be thinking, why in the world would I be enrolled in the OTEC automotive program? And I sometimes wonder that myself. And I know for a fact that my parents are absolutely baffled by my education path. But before I started the OTEC program, I didn't even know how to open the hood of my car, let alone fix it. The only difference I knew between like models of cars was car, truck, van, you know. And so, and on the first day of class, my job was just to install a battery. That's it. And while I was doing it, my wrist popped just a little bit. And I thought, my brain told me that you are being fully electrocuted, panic mode. So what a great start to this automotive program. Within just a short 2.5 months, I have confidently changed my own oil on my car, installed new brakes myself, and diagnosed countless problems on our shop cars in only 2.5 months. I have grown really fond of the teaching styles that are exhibited in our OTEC environment. I distinctly remember the first time I had to diagnose a car. Something was drawing too much power from the battery, and one of the instructors gave me all the tools I needed and vaguely told me that I just needed to figure out what was wrong. After a really brief sweep of the vehicle, I obviously couldn't figure out what was wrong. I'm not even sure what I was looking for, a big lit up arrow saying, this is broken, you know, or something, but nowhere could I find that sign. I came to the instructor again and again, just begging him, just tell me what's wrong and I can go learn how to fix it. That's why I'm here. But patiently, he told me to just review what you know, go over it again, just try again. And after going back again and again, a light bulb finally hit and I hadn't checked the trunk. Sure enough, the trunk light stayed on after the car was turned off. And that was when I realized the whole point of the work that I was performing. I wasn't just doing this to go around and fix things. It was about understanding the process, understanding what I was capable of and what I could accomplish. I felt so proud of myself that day and continue to amaze myself with what I'm able to do in this class. Once I graduate from the program, I hope to work as an intern for some of my mechanic uncles in St. George. After that, I hope to serve an 18-month mission for my church, after which I plan to go back to school at Weber. Whether I choose to make a career out of this or not, I know that the lessons and skills I have gained there will travel with me throughout a lifetime. I hope to pass this on to my future family and encourage future generations to be excited and ready for STEM and tech careers, because technically, I run the world. Thank you.
Can we ask you a couple of questions? Would that be okay?
Something to diagnose.
Any questions for Amberly?
Well, for sure. So proud of you. I'm sure your mother makes me want to cry. I'm so proud of you. What a great thing you're doing. You know, it's always good to learn different things, even if you're going into a different career. You're exactly right. I'm like in my 60s. I don't know how to open my hood. Maybe I better take that class. So proud of you. Very, very.
I want to know why you did choose that program. Sorry, I know I'm not one of them.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of was looking at, originally it was just like, okay, what are the first ones that interest me? And a lot of them that stood out were like the culinary program or the cosmetics or, you know, just different things like that. But this one was one that I felt would be a really, really good thing to be able to just use in my daily life. You know, I've had to pay for car repairs, you know, and it's expensive, and I wanted to be able to do that myself. And I have been to a lot of SheTech councils and stuff where like women in tech careers, and I think that that's just a really cool, powerful thing when women are able to do those, like, I guess less typical things, and it's been really awesome to be able to do that, you know.
Well, just in case no one said this to you yet, there's no reason you can't take over the family business in St. George.
Well, thank you.
Thanks for setting an example for other teams. That's awesome. Appreciate you being here today, and thanks. You did such a great job. It's your story. It's inspiring. It's helps us to be motivated in what we're going to do.
Good work, and instructors.
Thanks, Amberly.
You and your family are welcome to stay if you'd like to go. The only requirement is you take some food with you.
Get some street.
That was the most exciting portion of this meeting.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
We'll move on to item number 3, the audit, Paul.
We just finished up a few minutes ago with the state auditors. And appreciate them, appreciate Tyler and Katie and everyone else in your group that was involved in that. It was well done. And that way forward, so.
Great.
They're on top of it. I don't know what else to say. They're just doing a great job. So.
Tyler, any comments?
No, we've had 2 year-end audits in about 6 or 7 months with a new team. And they really have just risen to the occasion. We had no findings this last year with the audit. If you read the required communication, 5 pages that was sent to you, I think from Tina. There's some new audit standards that were used this year. They change those all the time, but nonetheless, no audit findings. There were some proposed journal entries, a handful of which had to do with capital assets. Those were all implemented, but none of them rose to the level of a weakness or a control issue. And so Paul indicated really positive stuff, and we have some goals looking ahead to try and ensure that we're doing the financials each year without even needing to have proposed journal entries from the auditors. And I think we'll get there. So other than that, that's about all there is to report on.
They've done a wonderful job, and you guys know how audits are. They are here. They changed the rules, and you have to go someplace else. But like I said, these guys are on top of it. They've done a wonderful job.
You all received a copy of the financial audit, and if you read that, then I commend you. But if you get into the notes of that, you'll notice there are a few things different, in terms of the notes. One of the things that was implemented this last year was leases and how those are accounted for. So there's more information specific to some of the different leases. And a lot of it's not even really leases. I mean, we typically don't have leases per se, but we lease a couple of buildings on campus to other partners and things like that. And even those things are accounted for there. All of these changes are to make them more useful to the users of the financial statement. So I hope that you feel more enlightened and better informed.
We just appreciate that you like this.
Hey,
It was
I will
fascinating to read.
admit that what we had with Amber Lee is the payoff to have to endure this.
Tyler's one of the few people that smile during an audit.
It's wonderful. Okay, any discussion about the audit report that was sent out to the members of the board? None. We'll accept a motion for the approval of the fiscal year 22.
I move to approve the college fiscal year 2022 audit report.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, Vice President Call for sunsetting the policy.
Okay, as the memo in the board book indicates, our policy team was reviewing the location in this policy, and our HR director, Sharon Lobato, has indicated that this affirmative action equal opportunity policy really is not required or needed, and so we're recommending that it be sunsetted. Everything covered under equal opportunity and affirmative action is covered in our non-discrimination policy, which we have already in place. And so it's really just duplicate and or needed. And so that's why we're sunsetted. There are a couple of others that we'll probably be proposing be sunsetted at our next board meeting as well. And I will tell you what those are just as a heads up.
Accommodations and disability accommodations.
Thank you, Tina. There they are. So those will also be covered under other policies. Any questions on that?
Sure. On a lot of federal funded grants, they ask specifically for an EEO policy. Will this hurt us in any way when we go after federal money?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked the question, and because I thought somebody might ask that, I asked kind of some of the same things of Sharon this morning in some back and forth dialogue, and she did some research. We're the only tech college that has this policy in place. None of the others do. And they all receive the same federal grants that we do. And according to what she found here is that the purpose, it says here, they do not constitute an agreement for the purchase, sale, or use of personal property or non-personal services that would qualify for contractor status, therefore solely serving as a conduit. Excuse me, that's for Pell. For grants. I'm sorry that I'm having to read her notes because I don't know it well enough, but essentially the answer to your question in short is that our understanding is that it does not. We have an attorney that just walked in the room and one that's on Zoom, and I guess they can weigh in if they know otherwise. But what we're proposing is to eliminate our equal opportunity affirmative action policy or sunset it. And that we won't need that. I think it's if you're a contractor with the federal government, but have a grant with them doesn't qualify as making you a contract. And ineligible for pass-through money. So. Good question. That's what our understanding is. Any other questions or comments related to that?
And we'll entertain a motion for the passing of the sunsetting of this policy.
I move to eliminate the college equal opportunity affirmative action policy number 520.2.
Second. Yeah, thank you. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Vice President Collin, can we take number 5 there?
Yes. Get back to my notes here. So this memo that has been shared with you in the board book is somewhat basic, and I'm happy to entertain any questions that you might have regarding this process that we're going through to transition from clock hour to credit hour. And component of that for us is also to take all or any general fees that we have and roll those into tuition. But we have all of the technical colleges within the system of higher education have been asked to make this transition at least by the beginning of fiscal year 2025. However, I think majority are shooting to have this implemented and effective for fiscal year 24, which would be July next year, that we would start to do that. One thing I didn't indicate in the memo that we discussed just this morning is what we will have to offer, though, in that first 18 months to 2 years is we'll be operating under 2 different methods, clock hour and credit hour. So those students that were already enrolled will continue to pay and have the same arrangement that they had when they enrolled. But there's been a couple of different things happening with regards to this. There's been a lot of coordination at the state or system level. Been working with the system of higher education, all the other technical colleges to try and the things we've been asked to do is try and get within the same range and make sure that what we're proposing is somewhat consistent. And so moving forward, they hope to have tuition charged in 3 different components: the standard tuition rate, the differential tuition rate, and then course fees. And we're only proposing to have a standard tuition rate of $95 per credit hour. Some of the other institutions, and when it comes to differential tuition, there are limits. It's not like you can select any program and say, oh, well, we're going to add a whole bunch more money. There's like 3 to 6 different programs where, because of the high cost to run those programs, they will allow the schools to charge a surplus or a higher amount. And then, of course, if there's other additional fees associated with running a program, then you can charge course fees. We haven't traditionally not and do not intend to charge course fees. And this is something that honestly, I feel like needs to be celebrated and acknowledged. For the board needs to be aware of this, but we are the only technical college within the system that does not charge course fees. We've made it a point over many years to keep costs affordable for students and to not prevent enrollment. And that's not to say that the others haven't, and I'm not trying to say that they don't run well or anything. It's just we have run lean and we have a flat organization and we do everything we can to keep the cost down so we don't have to charge more. And so all we'd be proposing to do is charge $95 per credit hour. Aside from that, as you can see, there's a lot to be discussed on the college end, and that's some of what we were talking about this morning, the fact that we have to run parallel two systems for a number of months and or years. There's policy revisions, the publications and the website need to be updated, and all this needs to be communicated with the students. Before we transition to credit, we'll have a committee that's put together, including students, to identify what so that they can weigh in on tuition and fees. And so all of this needs to take place within basically the next quarter so that we can have a truth and tuition hearing sometime, I think, in March, and have these new rates adopted. I've probably been long-winded, but does anybody have any questions?
Progress, that's great.
You already have that committee set up?
We don't, and that's one of the things that I've been charged with, is identifying who needs to be on that committee and putting that together. And so we'll be doing that here in the next couple of months. Yeah. And so when we have the truth and tuition hearing, students are always invited to that, but you know, we historically haven't really charged a lot in the way of fees. And we still don't intend to do that. We're eliminating the general fee and we have no course fees, but still put a committee together so we can kind of help students understand what's happening when it comes to this, making this transition from clock hour to credit hour. So it is somewhat complicated, and in the end, some students will be paying a little bit more, some will be paying a little less. It remains essentially revenue neutral for us as an institution based on the calculations that we've done at $95 for every credit hour. So, and I should also point out, as I did in the memo, that the range right now, as it stands, is some colleges are proposing as low as $80 per credit hour, which I think there was just one, and there's one as high as $20 per hour. So I'm not sure if the system is still going to try and rein that in a little bit, or if we're gonna let it go at that. What they were kind of hoping for is somewhere between $90 to $100 per credit hour. 95. That's what we're proposing. Any other questions?
Vice President Burchell, would you like to talk about the accreditation study report?
Yeah, and I'll try to be a little bit more concise. I'm just kidding. And this is more by way of information, and we outlined it in the memo, but we wanted to make the board aware that we are going through a reaffirmation for our accreditation this next year. I'm going through a self-study that's required for that accreditation visit that will take place in, I have a countdown clock on my phone here, so that we're in 347 days. So we're just under a year from the COE, Council of Occupational Education. That organization will send a team to the college to evaluate how the institution stacks up against the standards and the criteria that we need to live up to maintain that accreditation. So we're busy in our programs and in our other areas and departments documenting and making sure that all of those things are done this year so that we can write our self-study and be prepared for that visit. But there will be more to come. We'll keep you updated as that progress is going throughout the year. But we wanted to make the board aware that that's happening this year. So a lot of work goes on specifically in our programs and our specific departments to make sure that we're documenting all that the information that shows that we're meeting the criteria that the council asks of us, and And then we look forward to having the team on campus here at our institution in October of 23 to evaluate that documentation and then to reaffirm our accreditation for the next 5 or 6 years. So the last time we had a team on campus was in 2017. And again, we look forward to having them the fall of next year. So any questions for me on the reaffirmation visit or self-study?
A great process. Thank you.
President Taggart, would you like to talk about the time of giving campaign and our or should we just have Cassidy jump in?
Well, let me introduce Cassidy. Thank you, Chair Wardle. Cassidy Black is our new development coordinator. In that role, she writes grants. She works with our foundation to raise money for student scholarships and support. Cassidy's been with us for 2 months, 6 weeks. It's been a very brief time, but we are so excited to have Cassidy as part of our advancement department in helping us with development. Cassidy has a strong background in government affairs, communications management, policy development and implementation. She has a strong legislative experience, having interned at both the state and federal level, which brings her a lot of experience in connecting with local state government leaders and our federal leaders. She is a graduate of Weber State and is completing her MBA right now. But most importantly, Cassidy is part of our community. She loves our community. She's chose to raise her family in our community, and she's passionate about the success of every single one of our students. She's also passionate about the success of employers who hire our students. And so with that, I'll turn the time over to Cassidy to talk about our time of giving.
Thank you. Every word was great. President Taggart said that he wasn't recruiting. I had run into him a couple of times before I ended up coming here to OTEC. But he was recruiting. It was his passion and the way that he spoke about you guys in the college and what you guys do that really made me want to be here and just get behind something amazing. And I have the most amazing job because I get to see the students and share their stories of success. And that is all what the time of giving is about. Hopefully this isn't the first time you guys have heard about it, but every October, the 1st through the 31st, so we're coming up on the end here. We partner with our employers and our board members, our employees, and we raise funds to invest in student success. And on your agenda, hopefully there's an attachment that has this little student story at the bottom. But this is just one example. Her name's Ashton, and she was a newlywed family with her husband and basically trying to pay the bills. And she was one of our students that was able to receive a scholarship. And it was because of this campaign and because individuals decide to invest. And so I just am here to invite you to donate during our campaign and help students like Ashton. I do help with the grant writing and grant process, and there are even grants that ask if your board members are investing in what you're doing or if they are contributing and believe in what's going on in your organization. And so we really truly believe it's important. Our theme this year for our students and the college is to level up. And so wherever you're at with your commitment to student success, we just ask you to level up, whether it's $1 or $100 or more. It will truly go further and further. And so let's see, one last thing. Last year, I wasn't a part of this, but our board members and employees combined were able to contribute $31,000. So it really goes a long way when you look at this impact that that can have on our students. So that's our time of giving, and you can scan that QR code at the bottom of the memo, or you can just go to otech.edu/give now. Thank you for letting me be here, and thank you for everything you're doing for our community and school.
Thank you, Cassidy. Welcome. Appreciate your efforts. This is very worthy cause, as you know.
Okay, we have the board packet that Tina so faithfully sends out had informational items on there, and encourage you to review those if you haven't yet. Is there any questions or comments about the informational discussion items? Okay, we don't have a need for an executive session right now, so we'll open it up for any other discussion items we need to talk about.
Chair Wardle, if I could just interject, I do want to welcome board member Hope Eccles. She has been assigned to our region as one of our 2 members from the Utah Board of Higher Education that are assigned to our area. So she is on our resource and review team. So she serves as a resource not only to myself, but to you as members of the Board of Trustees, along with Sanch Dada. And so it's wonderful to have Hope assigned to both Ogden-Weber Tech and to Weber State University. On Thursday, November 17th, the Utah Board of Higher Education is actually meeting in our region. They have 2 days of meetings. They'll have meetings that Thursday night. That will be held here. There, because I'm not physically there. It'll be held at the Ogden-Weber Tech campus in the Health building in Cross Hall West. This is an opportunity for our culinary students to provide a dinner for our Board of Higher Education members. It's an opportunity for me to give a state of the college address, and for Chair Wardle to be able to share the Board of Trustees perspective to members of the Board of Higher Education. The next day, the Board of Higher Education will be meeting at Weber State, and we'll have a student that will be able to talk to the board as they meet as the committee of the whole for day-long meetings. So a Weber State student will address the board, and then an Ogden-Weber Tech student will address the board as well. But Board Member Eccles, I wanted to give you a moment if you want to say anything to our members of the Board of Trustees.
I'm just delighted to be able to be with you, so to speak. Thank you particularly for your service. I am a firm believer that the opportunities offered at the tech schools are essential. They're essential for our state. We need these skilled workers, but they're essential for our students. That it gives them an opportunity, and for a lot of them, it's an opportunity that they can believe in when they're not sure that some larger institution or a 4-year degree is maybe their first step. I think the tech schools are incredibly important as an access point, and I think they're incredibly important in changing people's lives. So I want to thank you for your service, and delighted to have this opportunity. As the president said, I am sort of a liaison. I'm not sure I have many resources to offer to the good work you're doing, but interesting to learn. I was glad to hear the report with the challenges of transferring from hours to credit. No, time to, anyway, whatever we're doing. But to understand and to be made aware of the realities of those challenges as you're going to have to run 2 systems and so forth. And I think it's really important for all of us to understand that, and to be available to help work through those and share this between all the tech colleges that are going through this. So again, thank you very much. I'm looking forward I'm coming up next week for graduation, and I'm quite excited to see these folks, and not just kids, but people that are really taking steps to change their lives and to give themselves opportunities that serve their families, serve their communities, and serve the state. So thank you again very much, and I'm glad to be part of this.
Thank you, Board Member Eccles. As she mentioned, our graduation is next Tuesday, November 1st at 6 p.m. Graduation is being held in a new location. Graduation will be held at the Eccles Conference Center in Grand Ballroom A. Parking is free, so you can park at the events parking space behind the Eccles Conference Center. And so if your schedule permits, please join us for graduation. That's next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Again, the dinner is for all members of the Board of Trustees on November 17th. Tina will send out another message if you haven't had a chance to RSVP. That'll be from 6 to 7:30. That meeting is just for members of the Board of Trustees and members of the Board of Higher Education. So you get to spend some time together. It'll last about an hour and a half on Thursday, November 17th. Thank you, Chair Wardle.
Thank you. Any other discussion items for tonight? We should talk about something.
I can talk a little bit more if you want.
Can you tell us what's going on with it, Tyler? We're fascinated.
I'm not joking.
Okay.
Short-winded.
School year 20.
The next meeting is scheduled for December 15th. We typically, it's a placeholder. If it's needed, vitally needed, we'll meet. If not, we'll probably cancel that because of the busy holiday season. So I guess last thing is motion to adjourn. Paul, thank you. Okay. Thank you all for being here. Your attendance tonight. You've got some good things happening and great work. Feel free to take a we call it a doggy bag, but people bag. I think there is a doggy present in our meeting today, but thanks everyone virtually for joining us.